Welcome to my podcast. My name is Corrinala. I come to you from the Pacific Northwest where I live with my partner, our 2 kitties, and 2 adopted Mustangs. Information about the Wildhorse adoption program will be in the episode description box. This podcast covers knitting projects, my horsemanship journey, and my other passions like vegetable gardening and bicycling. If you're new here, I hope you find the content interesting. If you're a returning viewer, it's always great to have old friends. The format of this channel typically includes musings on an early walk to the barn to feed the horses, then knitting content, some catch up on the horsemanship journey, and finally more musings or maybe a little bicycling footage if I was lucky enough to get out. Enjoy, and I hope to see you soon. Hi everyone, welcome to the knitting portion of this podcast. I'm actually filming out of order just because it is still dark out right now and the horses I gave them plenty of feed last night, so they should be fine until it gets a little lighter. It is, what time is it? It's about 7:15. So I'll probably feed them in about a half hour. There will be plenty of daylight. So what am I wearing? I am wearing this owl poncho that I made. It's a little snug in the shoulder. So I may bring it just, more loosely around my neck. This is a rustic yarn. This colorway and this colorway are a rustic yarn from a local sheep farmer. This is fromage and this colorway is truffle. The intention of this is to be an outdoor garment. Let me stand up. I put a split so my intention was to ride my horse, in this. And I haven't been riding because of my shoulder injuries, and it's just now getting to be that weather. So this is how I made it. This is the gray is a commercial yarn. It's a Patton's worsted. So this is all worsted. The poncho idea was based on an Icelandic sweater or poncho pattern that I have in a 25 ponchos magazine or booklet or something like that. I changed it up. I wanted to use these owls motifs, and so I used a stitch dictionary. I can't remember if I used the doodle one, which is by Pacific Knits, or if I used the other one that I'm not remembering the name right now, but I will try to put that at least in the show notes if you are interested in using these motifs. So I still have a lot to learn about modifying patterns. So that's why this is like this. It's very warm in here, so I'm going to take this off. But the reason why I'm telling you this has to do with how I'm spending my day today. But the other sweater I'm wearing, I have worn this many times before. This is the Riverside sweater made out of the same rustic yarn. The brown and the white are both rustic. Made from the same sheep farmer, Harmony Fields in the Skagit Valley. The red accent color is a Patton's worsted. And again, this is intended to be an outdoor garment. So I'm actually going to wear this when I go feed the horses. It's okay with me if it gets hay in it. I think that using rustic yarn is absolutely perfect for this type of activity. So now that I've jumped all over the place, let me tell you about a finished object. If you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen this Love Note sweater. It's hard to tell the front and the back, so even though they're short rows, so I tend to leave myself a little clue. But this is made out of a hand-dyed yarn. I used 2 skeins, or maybe 1.5. This was repurposed yarn from another project that I didn't like. It's held with a lace weight mohair. So, and the sleeves are the length I like them, just below the elbow. The yarn, hand-dyed yarn, is by Nativity. I often have that in my show notes. The colorway was a number. I don't remember what it is, but he dyes in twin sets. And this is probably, I think, the Fiddle Bits sock yarn. And the mohair really actually makes it quite soft. The Fiddle Bits is a bit of a sturdy yarn. So I really like this. I've worn it once this week, and it's just wonderful. I only brought one work in progress. I am almost done with the Halloween cowl. I started the last color in the last clue, so I should actually have that finished tomorrow, but I'll bring that on to the next episode. So my work in progress that I'm sharing is in this bag. This is the Float Tote by Nitty Natty, or Love and Stitches. I can't remember her Ravelry name. Excuse me. This is the Ghost Horses pattern. Oh, forgot to mention, this is Tin Can Knits. The pattern is in, or the project page is in my show notes, and I used a US size 10 needle on those, which is 6mm. So this is where I'm at with Ghost Horses, and this is a pattern by Caitlin Hunter. This is what it looks like. I am making the long sleeve version. Doing color work out of these 2 yarns makes a fairly sturdy fabric, I will say. The yarn is the contrast color. This light color is a Brooklyn Tweed fingering, and the main color is Spin Cycle in a sport weight, and I knit a gauge swatch. They go beautifully together. I've tried this sweater on multiple times. It's the right length. The sleeves are working out, so I got one sleeve done, the right sleeve, and I am working on the left sleeve. And I have to admit, the sleeves are taking forever. I'm only knitting on this in the evening. My morning knitting has been that mystery cowl. And, you know, I might get four rounds done, maybe more, I'm not sure. But I do this color pattern, or this chart, which is 18 rows, 4 times plus another 6. So I am, it looks like, a little more than halfway, about 2/3 of the way of the first chart repeat. So I'm getting there. I don't know if this will be a finished object next week. I would like it to be. Really, my goal is to finish this by the end of October so I can get on with other projects. Needles are Chow-Gu Red Lace. This is a special needle stopper from Carrie of My Wool Mitten. So she gave those to me as a care package when I injured my right shoulder in January, which was very awesome. And that also brings me to the activity for the day. Why I'm wearing all these woolly things. So it is definitely fall here. We've had a couple frosts. I am going to a clinic, a horse riding clinic. I don't know how to say that in for non-horse people, but it's where a trainer comes in and does sessions with participants, and it's basically a whole day of lessons for people who signed up. I am just watching. I think I mentioned this last week. It's a dressage trainer who uses the French method for dressage rather than the German method of dressage. And I tried to explain it a little bit. The German method is more of a taking method of collection and balance and things like that. And the French method is maybe, it's a softer method. And I hope that after I go to this clinic that I can explain this better. Both are effective. I'm not saying that the German way is bad. I think that some horses respond better to one method versus the other. And my horses, at least the way the French method was explained to me, I feel like my horses would respond better to that. So I am going to be outside, or, in an outdoor environment. It might be covered in, and the temperature is supposed to get into the mid 50s today. But if you're just sitting, it can be, and it's raining outside, it can be, bone chilling. I have heard that like 50 degrees and raining is the perfect way to get hypothermic. So that's why I am pulling out all the woolies. I am going to bring my wool mittens from the yarn that Carrie from My Wool Mittens sent me in that care package. And I'm also going to bring some knitting. So I'm going to bring some fingerless mitts too. It just depends on how cold it is. So that's what I'm up to today, and why things are a little bit upside down. Besides that, it's just the sun is rising later. So the other thing that I would just want to talk about, some acquisitions and kind of life stuff. So I've got 2 books that I ordered from Amazon yesterday, and they arrived early this morning. Like Randy was leaving for work around 5:30, and they were on the porch. So that's pretty amazing. So I got the Homemade Vegan Pantry, The Art of Making Your Own Staples, and this is by Mayoko Shinner, it looks like. So I got this one, and if you've been following me for a while, you know I've been interested in more plant-based foods. So I think they are better for our bodies and better for the planet. And I know that if I avoid certain foods, like too much dairy is it's a trigger for me. It kind of brings on some inflammation that can come out in digestive upset. It can come out or present itself in a lot of sneezing and congestion, and it can present itself with some joint soreness. So I also, by the same author, got this vegan creamery. So I'm looking forward to this. I know a lot of the cheeses and whatnot are cashew based, which is a nut that I get along with very well. So I'm looking forward to trying some of these and doing some meal planning. I've had some cashew ice cream before, and it is delicious. Or cashew milk ice cream, and it is delicious. So it's very creamy, and I don't have the same consequences from it. So looking forward to digging into that. So that's one of the way I'm going to spend the weekend, is doing some meal planning. We may do a day trip tomorrow. We're still negotiating or thinking about it. We're not negotiating. I mean, if Randy wants to go, I'm going to go. It's totally fine with me. He's just really trying to decide whether this is a trip that he wants to do tomorrow. What else do I want to say? The garden has been put to bed. For the most part, I pulled all the zucchini and the tomatoes last Sunday. That we had a big thunder shower, and I thought, oh, I'm not going to be able to get in the garden at all. But after that, it cleared up, and I just went out and kind of impulsively pulled all those plants. And I'm glad it did, because the next day we had a frost. It seems early for us. If there are still tomatoes that are near the house, tomatoes and squash that are near the house that are weren't impacted by the frost, but definitely in the open garden areas, it was definitely got some frost that would have impacted those plants. So I processed all the squash. Monday, the 13th, was Indigenous Peoples Day, and my employer observes that. So to honor that, I watched a video from a Native American food preservationist who lives in, I think, North Dakota. And I will endeavor to put her YouTube channel in the show notes. Remind me if I don't, please. So she was just talking about how to dry squash and use it. Now, she was using a knife method for spiralizing it and then hanging on a dowel to air dry. I have a dehydrator, and a spiralizer device. So I spiralized all the zucchini, put it in the dehydrator, and now it all fits in a gallon bag. I would not go out and buy zucchini or any other type of squash and do this, but because I grew it and when we have an abundance of it, I decided to do that. And we will use this over the winter in soups and frittatas and everything else that we make. Speaking of frittatas, which are eggs, and I just talked about how I want to be more plant-based, I am interested in animal products that are humanely raised, and I get eggs from a friend of mine who has chickens, and I pay her for her eggs. So she has an abundance of eggs, and I often get like 3 dozen at a time. So I have met her chickens, and they are really funny. They live with her horse, and they will follow you around, and they'll sit on, if you're standing in one place, one of them will sit on your feet, and it's kind of funny. So I'm really happy with how these chickens are raised, and I'm super happy that she has an abundance of eggs that she can share. So on that note, I don't have anything else to talk about the knitting, so I am going to end this here. I'll come back if I think of anything else. I think I'll do I'm going to do things out of order. I'm going to put the walk out to the barn in chronological order, which will be after this video. So take care, everyone, and I'll see you next time. Hey, friends. This will be the indie bits of the video since I already recorded the knitting portion. This is the walk out to the barn. On this lovely fall day, I'm going to turn you around so you can see what I'm looking at. See those beautiful trees? It sounds like it's raining a little bit, not raining very hard. The sky looks very bright. So I know it rained pretty good earlier this morning when it was still dark, and it could be just, dripping and stuff like that. Pardon the wiggling around while I put on my boots. Maybe I'll just set you on the porch chair so you can look at the propane tank. Okay. I have thicker socks on, so boots take a little bit longer to put on. I have a compost bin that I need to empty, so we have all kinds of things to do this morning on the way out to the barn, including turning on the water to the barn. Look at the sky. So what a unusual day. I think dressing in layers is going to be key for comfort today. And the Riverside sweater and the poncho, I think, are going to be perfect for that. You probably have seen my 100-acre wood blanket before. It's a mitered square blanket patterned by Kay Jones. And she had this, developed this pattern for the summer of stitching. And I think the pattern was available to all the patrons, but she has decided to release it as a paid-for pattern. So if that is a pattern that you are interested in, it should be available on Ravelry. Look under K Jones, KF Jones. It's a little bit different in that the squares are much smaller. Her design, the way she explained it today, this morning, as I was watching their video show, that it was designed to use small bits of yarn. I think in a previous episode she said it was like 3 grams of yarn. Compost bin overflowing because of the big garden clean out. And the squares are only supposed to take about 20 minutes to knit. So, you know, if you do 1 square a day, it's you can do it in 20 minutes a day. I haven't been doing that because I've been knitting on a lot of other projects. But, you know, as I kind of finish these time-critical projects, I may think about doing that. That's actually a good idea. And the other unique thing about her design is that you do it in strips so that the decreases have a zigzag pattern, which there's other free mitered square blankets out there with bigger squares, which I think could easily be adjusted. And you either go from the center out, or I forgot what the other option is. I started the Coziest Memories blanket, but then ripped it out once this 100-acre wood pattern became available. So, and you know, I didn't get far enough on it to really figure out, you know, what the ultimate pattern was going to be. So I don't knit a lot of blankets, mostly because I did that in the 70s and 80s and maybe even 90s. I did a lot of crocheting, actually, crocheted blankets, and so I had plenty, and they were all out of acrylic yarn, so they are going to last forever. Let's see where the horses are. Oh, good morning, boys. Ready for breakfast? They get the day off. I've been working Odin a little bit in the round pen. He still has a sore hoof. Farrier thought it was a stone bruise. She's coming back out next week, so hopefully that's what it is. Well, oh, I got new hay. Hey, I got hay, which was awesome. I got it Monday. But this is the end until next time. So take care, everyone, and I'll see you next time.